Hello everyone. Today we have with us here Mr. Shankar Padmanabhan, an alumnus from Christ University, batch of 2013. Shankar's journey evolves from starting as a bassist and vocalist to working as an HR executive to a present-day co-founder and creative director at Rambling Joint. With 8 plus years of expertise and working with big names like BCCI and Dell, he has had a profile highlight as working for an IPL auction documentary with BCCI. Besides work, Shankar explores on two wheels as a major highlight and even enjoys specialty coffee and cherishes the moments with his furry companion. His resilient shift from HR to a writing and video production maestro showcases the power of passion in the recipe for success. Shankar, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate it.
So let's move on to the questions, shall we?
Yeah.
So, sir, firstly, I would like to ask you, how was your journey originally in Christ? Like, how did it look like? Can you tell us a bit about it?
Okay. Christ actually changed my life. So before joining Christ, just to give a background of where I came from, I knew that I wanted to pursue something in music since a long time. I would say like 8th, 9th grade. But then it's not something that I could tell my parents. 2000s was a time when, if you tell your parents that you want to pursue anything other than engineering or medicine, they would get a stroke. So I just went with the flow. I thought, I'll pursue what my cousins and brothers did, which is engineering. I took science. But by the time I was in 12th, I realized, it's not my thing. That's when I joined Christ as a commerce student. I was part of the first BCom honors batch, 2010-2013. And it completely changed my life. And I don't mean that the things that happened in class completely changed my life, but everything that happened outside changed my life. Because this college is a hotbed of opportunities where you can actually indulge yourself in extracurricular activities. I had around 7 bands in my 3 years of existence in Christ. And I got to experience a lot of things also. I was part of the cult team of 2011-12, and we got to, go around the country and pursue my passion. So Christ was an absolutely amazing experience for me.
So I guess you've quite enjoyed your journey of Christ.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So following up to that, can you tell us what was your one memorable event from the college life?
Okay, I'd say that we got to go to Pitspilani in Goa to compete in Waves Festival. So I think this was the first time we went from Christ to Goa because previously it was in Pondicherry, one of the colleges there. So that was like an amazing experience. We got to stay there for 3 days, participate in all different competitions, and we won. We eventually won the competition out of all the colleges in India. So that was one of the main highlights.
It's truly a memorable event for you, sir. So moving on from Christ, can I ask you how you originally started? I saw that you originally started as a bassist and vocalist at 3/4 Gravity, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how did the transition go?
Okay, so as I said, I always wanted to do something which is into music, right? And all the college bands that I had fizzled out really fast. But 3/4 Gravity is a band that we formed. Two of us from college, 3 of us from college, and a few others from outside, which really took off. We even demoed a couple of songs. We had our singles, and we started performing all across Bangalore. And one of the highlight was that there is a competition which happens every year in NIFT in Bangalore, and we won that competition. So we got to know that we do really have a potential in music. It went on for a while. We were there for 3 years, performing in all the pubs and clubs in Bangalore. But then you know what happens, right? Once college gets over, a few years into it, everyone wants to pursue their own thing. You drift apart. So all of us went our different directions, and 3/4 Gravity just became a thing from the past, a good thing from the past.
I'm sure that's something you'll remember in a good way, sir.
Yeah.
But again, you transitioned, and that's again visible. So you became an HR this time. What was the motivation this time? What was the spark that you got?
Okay, so because of this music thing always being in the background, I didn't really know what I wanted to do once I graduated from Christ. I had to pay my bills, and I wanted to pursue music also. So I thought, I'll take up one job which comes my way just to pay my bills, and that's how the HR executive profile came to me. I worked there for 2 years, probably some of the worst years of my life because I just got comfortable there. complacent, comfortable, just not thinking about what I actually want to do. 2 years down the line, I was sad. I was just sad, depressed. And I was like, okay, if I stay here for some more time, it's just gonna not work out well for me. So that's how the HR thing happened, but I quit 2 years into it to pursue music again.
So I guess you're paying your bills, but you're not paying your bills in your head.
No, absolutely not. I was not at all doing well.
So sir, we've also seen that you've had quite a few transitions, like you've changed quite fast paced until O2 Pod Collective, which you again helped start with a team. So what was the thing behind that, as in coming to O2 Pod Collective, starting a new joint again?
Okay, so I've seen that there's a trend which is followed by everyone, that by the time you get out of college you have to figure out what you want to do. But I was confused and I didn't really know what to do. So basically I used to dabble into like things that I'm passionate about. And I think 2017 is when my brother came to me. He was a lot into podcasts by then. He started listening when, I think from 2012-13. We said, why don't we start a podcast? We have varied interests. We love talking about science, technology, history, serial killers, those kind of stuff. So he was like, okay, we sit and talk about this, late night. Why don't we just record it? Try putting it out there and see what happens. That's how Writer and Geek started. The documentary podcast we ran, which ran for like 6 years. We have around 150 episodes. So when we started, like 6 months into it, we figured that podcast is at its peak right now in Bangalore, and there are other people who are doing this. We're like, okay, why don't we just meet up with these guys and figure out, what's happening? So I still remember 2017 we met up in Church Street, Matthew, 5 of us, 3 podcasters actually, 3 podcast groups. Musafir Stories, I'm not really sure. They're still there. It's a travel podcast and a few others. We just started a community called O2 Pod, just like that. We didn't have any agenda behind it, but within the next 2-3 years, it grew up to be a community of 100 podcasters. So we used to hold quarterly events, which used to have started from 25, then became 50, then became 100, and we almost had 125 people when the pandemic started. So that's how O2 Pod Collective came into existence. But then again, we had a policy that if something that we are passionate about and we work towards it, and the day it becomes like a chore and it becomes not fun to do anymore, we'll just quit. So one day O2 Pod Collective and it became something that we didn't have fun with, so we just quit.
Speaking of quitting and having fun experiences, Shankar, I've seen that you've not really settled until you came to Rambling Joint. So there's that spark again in your journey, in your career, that you have probably transitioned throughout all these living areas of experiences. So can you tell us more about how you ended up in Rambling Joint? What was the key factor behind Rambling Joint initially?
Okay, so after I'll have to go back a little bit.
Yes.
After the HR job, once I quit that, I moved to Chennai to pursue career in music with full force. I was there for like a year and a half. It didn't pay my the work was good, but and eventually I had to make a choice. It didn't pay more and more. Then eventually I had to make a choice. I struggled more and not do 160 or just go back and I was broke completely myself. And I had to either go back to my HR job or start completely broke. That's when I realized I had to either go back to my HR job my previous experience. That's when I realized developed a tendency to my previous experience. I thought why don't I develop a tendency to write them. I thought why don't I start a blog and figure things out. That's when the whole Rambling Joint thing came. So I built a small portfolio, uploaded it in Upwork. You must have heard Upwork, right? It's a freelancer site. Started applying to jobs. It took me 2 months to find my first job. I got a client from Greece who paid me $25 for one 1,000 word article or something. I used that $25 to purchase the domain Rambling Joint, and it became my portfolio. Then later on, I figured that content writing is what I started with, but it was not fun anymore. 2 years down the line, I got bored. I thought, okay, let me just start writing more scripts. One day I learned things from YouTube, how to write scripts. I wrote some sample scripts, I posted it as my portfolio, got some work within a week or two. Then reached out to many production houses in Bangalore. They also started giving me work. I was able to work with Big Basket, Karnataka government, those kind of projects. I was able to work as a freelancer. Then one of these production house who gave me up, they hired me. So I worked there as a writer, script writer for 4 years. But during that journey, I transitioned into as a director and also someone who can handle end-to-end video production. From the client side, you get the requirement, pre-production writings, the concept development, everything you do. Then shooting and go with the cinematographer. Come back and sit in the edit and do the final delivery. So in that 4 years, I learned the entire thing about production, and then I thought about it. I know everything when I start a company. And when that thought came up, Rambling Giant was already there as a portfolio. I thought it will be an extension of that, and I started my company, a media production company.
It's great to hear. So initially, the $25 that you received for the writing must have laid the foundation for what you are doing today.
I had 150 rupees before that in my account. That's it. Yeah.
So, sir, speaking of this, when you speak of Rambling Joint, sure must have not been you alone.
No.
Must have been a bunch of people. Can you tell us a bit more about your partners?
Okay, so right now we are a team of 4. I have my good friend Indrajit, who is like a silent partner as of now because he works in another company. But he's someone who I can lean on whenever I need things. But then my major partner is Shreyas Mahadev, who is the cinematographer and editor. So he is the guy who handles everything that comes in technically in Rambling Joint. From the beginning, when I worked at the production for 4 years. So once he left the company first, but we still stayed in touch. So once he left the company first, but we still stayed in touch. And when I started Rambling Joint, I called him up and starting something. Then we have another person. He said yes, and rest is history. Then we have another person, Isha, who is one of the backbones who is always there to help us with photography and video production whenever Shreyas is not there. So, yeah, this is Rambling Joint as of now, 4 of us handling things, and yeah, we're doing well right now.
So I've seen this interview, this conversation is going quite a monotonous one. You want to switch up things?
Yeah.
Let's switch the gears a little bit.
Okay.
Let's move on to a rapid fire.
Okay. I hope I do well.
So, sir, first things first. Your go-to song for inspiration?
John Mayer. Who did you think I was?
DPS or DOC? Which one you felt was better?
Sorry?
DPS or DOC? Which one you felt was better?
Okay, I didn't get that.
Department of Professional Studies or Department of Commerce?
Oh, that's what you call Department of Commerce. Yeah.
Being a DPS, I can definitely argue.
I'm sorry, but yeah, my loyalty is right here.
Vinyl records or digital records?
Vinyl records, but I don't have access to it, so right now, yeah, digital records.
Coffee breaks or brainstorming sessions?
Coffee breaks.
A word that describes a writer's block. A block as in where they get stuck.
I think this is what describes it me.
Okay. Innovation or integrity?
A combination of both, but I'd say integrity is more important because you can learn to innovate.
Worst advice ever received?
You should just give up because you're not up to anything.
Lastly, describe your entrepreneurial journey in one word.
Oh, enlightening.
So, I think we had quite a few questions. Now, let's get back to the round of questioning. So, can you tell us what you mentioned about the BCCI documentary, the IP auction documentary? What exactly was that? When did it happen? What were the things that it involved?
Okay.
It must have been a bit stressful for you.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the IPL auction that I was part of was the 2022 one and the 2023 one as an executive producer. But the 2024 one, which happened last month, I was not hands-on part of it. So when I was working with my previous company is when this happened, the first one. So I got a call from one production house in Mumbai saying that we need some executive producers to go to ITC Bangalore, which is a 5-star hotel where the event was happening, to produce the documentary with a team of 4. So we have 4 executive producers who have three people with them. One guy handling a camera, one guy handling something, another guy just being an assistant. So there we got to experience one of the best things in my life. So I grew up watching cricket during the 90s and 2000s. watching Rahul Dravid, Kumble, Sachin, but Sachin was not that right, sort of thing. So there, I got to actually meet them and interview them. So have you seen the IPL auction which happened on Star Sports, right?
Yes, sir.
So we were covering the behind the scenes,
Okay.
where what you see is what happens there right there. They'll tap the thing and they'll send the players, right? But behind the scenes, 2 days, a lot of stuff happens. You have conferences which has happened between teams where they discuss about which player they're gonna buy, how much they can spend on this guy, and what are the tactics and stuff they use to get these people. So we were inside those conference halls, listening into all these details, which would have actually helped us make a lot of money if we could sell it to someone else. But then, a lot of inside information, and we were able to interview these guys. So the highlight would be I was part of interviewing the SRH team back then, Sunrisers, and also Rajasthan Royals. So I got to meet Muralitharan, Lara, Tomy, and then Sangakkara, such gentlemen, And once the event was over, we got an invite to their round table, party, late night party. So I got to sit with Sangakkara and have a drink too. So it was like a once in a lifetime experience where, I don't think it's gonna happen again. But then again, last year also it happened, which was in Kochi. And there I got to interview Andy Flower, who else? Kumble, and Ashish Nehra, all these guys. So it was just a once in a lifetime experience. But the documentary is not yet out. We're just waiting for it to be, out
So
there.
it's still in the production stage.
Yeah, it's still in the production stage.
Okay. But must have been a really great experience for you for meeting such those legends.
I know, right? I know. So it's like when you see them on TV, it's like they're not humans, right? But when you're there, you get to see the people behind these sportsmen. So that's like a completely different experience. And many of them are like super humble. They are very nice to you. Okay, so that was a completely different experience.
I think we have thrown more than enough shots at Shankar. Let's just ask him one question, we'll wrap it up. So, initially asking your entrepreneurial journey, your transitions, and then with getting to the biggest highlight of your career till date. So, can you tell us the 3 advices, the 3 lessons that you knew you wish in your 20s that the young entrepreneurial mindset should know today?
Okay, so the first thing would be, I think this is mainly something that we follow in India. By the time you graduate, right, the society and yourself, your parents, expect you to figure out what you want to do with your life. You don't have to. 20s are the times for you to try out different things. Take like 2 years and follow your passions. Figure out what works and what not. If something works, great. If something doesn't, it's actually works as a stepping stone towards your next venture. So if you take my example, it took me 28 years to figure out that writing and direction and probably a media production house would be something that works out for me. And after that, I've started working towards it. So live your life, live your 20s like, it's a time to experiment. Not like where you have to set your career. Use the 30s to, set your career and build everything. That would be the first one. Then, comparison. We end up comparing ourselves with our peers, everyone else. But I'd say that the only person you should compare yourself is with you. Just when you feel down or feel like you're not doing well in your life, either look back 1 year and see where you are, or think about how this situation would be, would affect you probably like a year or two ahead in your life. If you're depressed right now, will this affect you 1 year later? If it doesn't, just let it be. And hustling. That is one thing that I don't really, work towards. I'm not a hustler. I wake up at 10 in the morning, but I get my work done. I think your aim should be to get the work done rather than just hustling. And if you look at the meaning of hustling in a dictionary, you'll see that it means fraud and something. Basically, just take your time. If you're building a company or if you have a career in something, just take your time in building your portfolio, your profile. You are set for your life in that case, rather than just trying to run before you can walk.
So I think that's a big hit for me to know the actual real meaning of the word hustle as fraud. But I guess it's better to just move forward without just aiming pointlessly in one direction.
Yeah. See, you should have an aim, but it's okay to figure it out in a stretch of a few years. You don't have to figure it out right away as you get out. If you want to do multiple things, I'd suggest you try out multiple things and figure it out. So, and do it slowly. You don't have to just run ahead, try to figure things out in a day.
So I think that's more than enough darts for Mr. Shankar, and thank you so much for being with us here today, Shankar. Your presence has been immensely grateful for us for all the efforts we've put in. Thank you so much for being with us here.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
For all those who are watching, we'll catch you guys in the next one.